Hello everyone, it's me, Mishka Christie, otherwise known as the MDC here in MDCRX, and we're back again with another Let's Go Live. I haven't done this in such a long time. It's been a couple months now, but I had to pause for a little while because I was doing my webinar. It took a lot of planning for the webinar, so I had to just pause for a little bit on the Let's Go Lives. So I could just, plan everything because it was more than just a little Zoom session. It was a very intensive thing and it took a lot of planning, so I had to pause, but we're back again. And as you guys may have seen, I'm gonna be talking with Miss Zanda Desir. She did food chemistry at UWI, yes, at UWI Mona. So she's gonna be talking to us today about are there poisons in our food. We're gonna be basically talking about preservatives and so on. So I'm just waiting on her to join so that I can add her. I'm not seeing her added yet, but let me just go through the questions we're going to throw at her. We're going to throw, first of all, what are preservatives? We're going to throw what foods have preservatives added to them. What are some examples of preservatives? Why do they get such a bad rap? Are they really dangerous? Do any cause cancer? Do any cause hyperactivity or ADHD in children? Are there any specific ones that we should watch out for? So those are some of the questions that we're going to throw at Miss Desir today in this chat. So let me see if she's in the chat as yet. I'm not seeing her. Hi everybody, I see y'all joining. All right, just bear with me here as I try and get her on. All right, hold on, just sent her a message. And by the way, throughout this entire experience, don't feel afraid to send in your questions. You can send it in the question box or you can just comment it in the live comments. That's happening down there. Alright, let me share this to her. I'm not seeing her as yet. All right. Anyway, for my new joiners. Oh, wait, there she is. All right, so we're gonna add her. Donovan, hello, Donovan, all going. All right, hold on.
Hi.
And here she is. Everybody, say hello to Miss Sanders.
Good evening, everybody,
How are you?
wherever you may be in the Caribbean or the rest of the world.
Right, yeah, because we have a pretty wide reach. We have Jamaica and we have St. Lucia.
Jamaica and St. Lucia, that is correct.
All right, so we're really glad to have you here. We're going to be talking about, as we were sharing, we're going to be talking about preservatives. Are there poisons in our food? We want to know if they're bad for us. This and that, yes or no. All right, so let's just jump right into it. With the first question, we just want to give you
just one moment before we go on. Is there a way that you can put what the topic of the night is?
In the chat, yes, actually I can. Let me put that.
And pin it, right? Oh, guys, I forgot to remove my retainer.
All right, I'm just setting the room. All right, so for everybody joining, again, are there poisons in our food? Talking about preservatives and so on. All right, so there we go. We added it, all right? All right.
Preservatives. Make sure I put preservatives so they know. So they're not misled. I was super worried about that.
All right, hold on.
I was super worried about that part, with such a broad other poisons in our food.
Yeah, you're scared that people might think that was actual poisons we're talking about.
Right.
Like some leaves in a plant or something. Food. So I'm putting other poisons in our food, colon, all about preservatives. How does that sound?
Bueno. Sounds great.
Let's pin that one instead. All right, there we go. All right, so we can start it. Let me just reset the room for everyone who just joined. We're talking about are there poisons in our food. Talking about preservatives, we're going to be looking into what they are, what foods they're in, and the effects they might have, are they dangerous or not. And we have with us Miss Zanda Desir. Say hello.
Daisy.
Yeah. Okay.
Daisy. Like the flower.
All right, so then Zanda Daisy.
That's right. Let's just go with that.
Okay. All right. So let's just jump right into the discussion with first a little discussion on a little description of what preservatives are. So what are preservatives?
Okay, so preservatives are compounds that you add to the food to lengthen the shelf life, also to ensure that the food is safe. So it prohibits microbial growth, in a nutshell, as it pertains to food.
And microbes being like your fungus or your
You have the fungus, you have the mold, you have yeast. Yes, but you have all of those external compounds. You also have potential growth of food. What am I saying? Brain fog. Potential growth of the microbes that are already in there, but in small quantities. So you can have like external contamination, or you can have the small quantities of the microbes, whatever it may be, in the food, and it may proliferate over a period of time. So adding preservatives in there would prohibit that growth and ensure that it is safe. It would also slow down color change, like in meats.
Okay.
Over time, the meats would change color due to like compound oxidation and whatnot. So adding preservatives to that would help to slow that and to keep it looking fresh.
Right. So this sounds like preservatives doing a lot for us. So far, it sounds more positive than negative. But we're going to look into what foods now. What foods would have in these preservatives in them?
Well, in all honesty, most foods that make it to the supermarket contains some sort of form of preservative, whether or not it is a chemical preservative or a traditional preservative like salt or sugar or vinegar, right? I don't think we generally look at salt, vinegar, and sugar being preservatives, but they are. They are the traditional preservatives. So you'll find your preservatives in baked goods, in juices, in meats, almost anything that makes it to the supermarket in the middle aisle will have preservatives. Even your frozen meats, as in the fresh meats, would also contain those. So yeah.
Okay. All right. And so basically the sugar and the salt and vinegar, they can also work as preservatives. So I guess it's just
definitely
the concentration of them that would be in the food, right?
Come again?
There would just be the concentration of it, because I think sugar it's over what, 20% that it's a preservative or something?
Right. So it's the amount that would really determine whether or not the food is preserved, because how it would work is that I don't want to say water is the enemy, but in food preservation, you want water to be stable, not active. So you want to reduce the water activity. So what the sugar and the salt would do, and in terms of the vinegar, it would stabilize the water. So whilst the water is still there, it is not active for any reaction or any microbial growth.
Okay. Right. All right. So other than those more, I guess, natural or organic examples of preservatives, of preservatives, what other examples of some preservatives do you have?
Okay, so we also have the chemical preservatives. These would be like the acids. So you have citric acid, you have lactic acid, you have acetic acid. So listen to how I just said vinegar just now. And now I'm telling you acetic acid.
Right?
So just using the how do I put it, the IPAC term for it, the chemical term, what was the word, right? The chemical term for it, it just kind of shifts it. You also have citric acid. Well, I mentioned that. Then you have sodium. So you have the sodium nitrite, you have sodium sulfite, you have sodium, the E1. You have potassium, you have sorbates, you have BHT, BHA. These get a lot of flack. Then you have chelating agents such as the EDTA. And then you also have vitamin D, vitamin E as preservatives.
I never know about the vitamin E. Well, I mean, I guess it's something that I see. Vitamin. It's an
antioxidant. It's an antioxidant. So this one would be used in products with lipids with fats to prevent lipid oxidation.
Oh, did not know that one. That's cool though. All right, so looking at them now, why is it that they're getting such a bad rap on the streets? Why is everyone looking for preservative-free things when it is that preservatives prevent this water now from housing all of these bad things, all of the microbes, bacteria, fungi, yeast? Why is it that preservatives are getting such a bad rap?
Well, this is not something that is new. The clean food movement started sometime in the 70s, right? And you would have, I'm going to stick a pin. I'm going to stick a pin, and then I'm going to give a disclaimer, and then we're going to get right back to it, right? This is not an attack on anybody with any food preferences or diet, whether you are vegan or you stick to you stick to the ITAL diet. That is on you. That is up to you. You can do it. You can afford it. Great, right? Let's go back. Yes. So it was a movement, more or less, to clean up the food, because there are a lot of questions around what goes into our food, right? Food is something that is very, very emotional. And when you have different scandals coming up, like, I don't want to mention any names. I don't have legal fees right now, but there's a there's a glyphosate company. Glyphosate is a pesticide, and you know about that big M that's no longer the big M, right? Yes. So they were really targeted for using pesticides in their food. Some of them used seeds that were genetically altered and all of that. You also have a lot of these documentaries which push a lot of pseudoscience, and I will be honest about it. It's not everything that you see on Netflix in these documentaries that's actual fact. There are facts in there, but there are also a lot of convoluted. It's shaped to fit an agenda. And whilst you can watch it, just be cognizant of the fact that not everything that you see on there is as it really is. So I'm not sure if it was What the Health. Oh God, I'm saying it out loud. But there was really one of them that really sparked that real violent movement. And big food wants to give you cancer, and big food this and big food that. So as a result of that, all food additives were demonized, all of them, right? And we're speaking about preservatives tonight, but then you have the nutrient additives, you have color additives, you have humectants, you have flavor additives. So all of them were demonized, and once, you'd read your label and realize that, okay, there is a scientific term on there, people just, immediately go into a frenzy. And at the end of the day, I don't blame consumers for wanting the best for themselves and their families. However, it is very easy to take advantage of that emotional aspect, of really, shopping for food, right? So it's a variety of things, as I mentioned, that would have contributed to where we're at right now with the amount of fear mongering and just fear surrounding consuming food that contain additives.
Okay. Well, I mean, I definitely do. I'm one of those people who sit and watch the Netflix, but from my background, I can tell when something sound away, something sound iffy. When you can definitely tell, like people like you and I, who we have that expertise. You can definitely tell when somebody's twisting something. What the actual
It's with an agenda, right?
Yeah. Where it's like, you definitely see that they're trying to do something here. So moving on from that note, are some of them really dangerous? Is it that, okay, they're all okay and they're just all getting hate and there's just this agenda? Are any of them actually dangerous?
Okay. So there is this very, very, very famous phrase. It's often shortened to it's the dose that makes the poison.
Yeah.
From the 1500s. And I will start with that. It really and truly is the dose that makes the poison. Because if I drink a bottle of vinegar, like, what do you expect will happen?
Exactly.
Right? However, in all honesty, and we're being honest on here, there are some preservatives that have been targeted as less than healthy for consumers. Nitrates, nitrites in meat. But in meat, right? So what happens is that a compound called nitrosamines is formed, and studies have found, I will be posting, for all the science people on here, I will be posting some of the papers that I'm referencing today in probably tomorrow or later this evening, right? Right. So some studies have found, actually multiple studies have found that constant consumption of meat that is preserved with nitrates contribute to colon cancer, right?
Yeah.
There also are studies that have looked at the connection to heart disease. And so the nitrosamines would be what really, the carcinogen in there that contributes to the cancer. Now, I will say this. I'll be saying this over and over.
Yeah.
Moderation is key. Okay? If you eat processed meat, when I say processed meat, I mean the sausages, I mean the ham, luncheon meat in the can, being a sausage, hot dogs, chicken franks, whatnot. If you're eating that every day, you're going to find yourself in some trouble. Now, I am also going to stick a pin again and give another disclaimer. I am a food chemist. I am not a dietitian. I am not a nutritionist at this point. I may go into it later, and you do have food chemists who specialize in these areas, but I did not. And as such, I won't be giving any specialized individual advice as to, what you should eat or what you should not eat. What I know is for myself only, right? But let's just go back, right? If you're eating processed meat every day, um, it's not to say that I'm really side eyeing you, because there are so many reasons why that could be just your situation, but it is not the best thing. It is not the best thing because, yes, in addition to the nitrosamines, you also have very high levels of salt and very high pigtail bouillon. You can eat your pigtail bouillon once in a while on a Saturday. You understand? You can have your pigtail bouillon. Yes, but very high levels of salt, very high levels of sugar, and it will affect your health in adverse ways. There is also BHT. Sausages, no, you have to throw that out.
Yeah, I love sausages.
There's also
Moderation,
BHT.
remember.
Pardon?
No, I was just telling her moderation. She was saying she loves sausages.
That's right. Moderation is key. BHT is an antioxidant, and it's commonly used in foods with fat, lipids. The scientific name for it is butylated hydroxyanisole. No, that's BHA. BHA. I keep attacking BHT, but that's BHA with the problems, right? And this one has some initial early. It's very early in the study stage, so there are a bit of studies on it. Some studies found it to be carcinogenic, and there were studies that found it to be anti-carcinogenic. But lucky for us, there are other options apart from the BHA in the food. So what has happened over time, when these studies come out and there are FDA conventions and whatnot, the manufacturers are there. The research and development scientists with these firms are there. They are aware of that, and they consume the products a lot of the time, not all the time, but they consume the products. Their children consume the products as well. So you don't want to be poisoning people at the end of the day. There are regulations that you have to follow, guidelines that you have to follow, standards that the food has to meet the state or international standards